Hello all and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Veteran Series from Fantasy Football Hub. My name is Andrew Ferguson and in this series I'll be chatting with some of the most experienced, knowledgeable and dedicated fantasy football managers in the world to get behind the scenes into their personal lives, their stories, why they love fantasy football, while also drawing out those golden nuggets of fantasy information that have helped them along the way. So in this first video, the word expert is used pretty loosely nowadays, but there is no doubt that my first guest is in the FPL elite, both in terms of knowledge and success, with we believe an unprecedented 3 top 500 finishes. He writes a weekly members article for Fantasy Football Hub, detailing the players he has his eye on for the coming game weeks, and has also guested on our FPL podcast, known in the social media hemisphere and by his mother, I believe, as the FPL General. Today we will try and meet the man behind the handle in Mark McGettigan, a full-time FPL manager living in Glasgow. So welcome, Mark. And firstly, could you tell us a bit about yourself?
Yeah, hi Andrew. Thanks for having me on this. Like you say, better known nowadays as the General. Even in my wedding speech, I think it was 2 summers ago now, my mother mentioned the General in the wedding speech, which got a great laughter from the guests. So yeah,
Brilliant.
been living in Glasgow now for about 5 years. Myself and my wife, she's a primary school teacher, and I'm a full-time fantasy football manager. Not many people can say that, so I'm very, very lucky. Living the dream, and long may it continue, hopefully. So yeah, we ended up in Glasgow. We've been together a long time. You know, we've been together since we're 15, and so coming up, we're both going to hit the big 30 very soon. So you know, been together half our lives now. So some will say that's a life sentence, but it's been a good 15 years. So yeah, we did 4 years uni in Dublin. We're from Donegal, which is in the northwest of Ireland.
Okay.
We spent 4 years then studying in Dublin. Yeah, so then we went from Dublin to Abu Dhabi for 2 years to teach kids out there. So we were teaching in a primary school. I was teaching maths to 6, 7, 8-year-olds, and she was teaching English. So that's how we ended up in Scotland then, because we went to study postgrad in primary school teaching. Both of us started a postgrad in Glasgow in 2 different universities, and very quickly I realised, probably after 2 or 3 months of the course, that I was in the wrong place. I remember just sitting in a lecture hall with 50 other would-be teachers and looking around me and listening to the words of the lecture just going straight over my head, thinking I'm in the wrong place here. So I just stood up and I just walked out. And obviously that was a scary decision to make, because I was back to square one then. I had my degree in business and management, but I didn't really know what I wanted to do. So I went around a few different jobs. I probably went through 3 or 4 jobs in about a year. Retail management. I was in JD Sports for a while, a couple of different things, an office job. And at the same time, then the FPL Twitter account was starting to grow, the FPL General Twitter account, and I started doing a few bits and pieces here and there. And in the end, I just took the plunge then, which I'm sure we'll talk about a bit more. But yeah, so we've been back to more about me. We've been here for 5 years. We're hoping to buy our first house whenever the world goes back to normal. And we were just glad we weren't in the middle of the process when everything got shut down. So that's the next step for us. Looks like for the foreseeable future we'll be in the Scottish Highlands.
Wow, it's really interesting to hear everyone's different, their stories and backgrounds and stuff. That's really, really interesting. What other hobbies do you have, Mark, or kind of have you had in the past, or have you just always wanted to be a full-time FPL manager?
Yeah, do you know what? I was trying to make a few notes for these questions, and I think I realised that I don't have very many other hobbies apart from fantasy football and football itself. So I've always been a big football fan, so that's always been my number one passion. So I've always enjoyed playing a bit of five-a-side with mates and stuff like that. I don't do it as much as I would like to anymore. It's something I want to get back to. But a bit of golf. I'm absolutely terrible at golf, but I still always enjoy a round. I probably get 10 a year, not that many, but yeah. So that's something I would like to do more of as well. I think during this crazy lockdown period, you kind of reflect on your life and what you do and what you don't do, and there's a lot of things I would like to do more of, and golf is definitely one of them. Lots of simple things too. I like sitting down with a book, sit down for an hour or two and just escape from the world into a good book. It doesn't necessarily have to be a football book. I'm reading a good one at the minute, actually, Inverting the Pyramid, Jonathan Wilson, which is a very good read. That is a football book. Long walks in the park, whether it be by myself with headphones in, with an audio book or a podcast. Again, it doesn't have to be sports. I like all different kinds of podcasts and stuff like that. Championship Manager I've got written down here as well. I've been playing that since I was about 12 years old, and even though I'm about to hit the big 30, I still have the disc, and I'm still refusing to throw it away. And it's come in handy actually during these long boring days.
Yeah.
So yeah, apart from that, it's like I say, I think I need to find a few more hobbies.
You're not bad at dancing in Soho, Mark.
That's my secret talent, but that only comes out after about 10 pints, so it doesn't come out very often. You're one of the lucky ones who got to experience that.
It was absolutely fantastic. Okay, and what are your first memories of football as a youngster, Mark?
Yeah, well, when you grow up in Ireland, and particularly in my part of Ireland, in Donegal, it's all Gaelic football, so there's very little soccer.
Okay.
People give Americans a hard time when they call football soccer, but growing up I called it soccer as well, because football to us Irish people is Gaelic football, which is the national sport, and that's the sport that every young kid plays, boy, girl, from 6, 7 years old right up. So I played that from 6, 7 up until probably I was about 17 or 18 when I chucked it in. So growing up there was very few opportunities for people like me to play soccer. You had to travel maybe 45 minutes to an hour to find a soccer club. There was very few of them around. So that's probably one of my biggest regrets. When I look back, it's something I wish, not a regret, but it's just something I wish I could have had when I was younger, was more opportunities to play soccer rather than Gaelic, because to me I wasn't as good as Gaelic as some of my other mates and family members who are big into it. I was always a soccer man. I spent all my time watching it, but never had many opportunities to go and play for a club and stuff like that. Okay. So I think earliest memories for me is just primary school. 7, 8, 9. Every lunchtime, you're playing 5, 6 aside, against each other, and just epic battles and epic memories. You've got your top scoring charts in the classroom, and people are saying they've scored 5 goals when they've only scored 3 goals, and all that kind of stuff. So I think earliest football memories then in terms of Premier League and stuff is probably watching. We didn't have sports channels at home, the Sky Sports or anything. We would have had the likes of ITV and BBC and that kind of stuff. So it would have been probably Champions League first of all on ITV.
Okay.
Watching the likes of Manchester United, and that's probably where I became a glory hunter then in 1999. I was 8 years old, I think, in 1999, and I remember very vividly Champions League semi-final, Juventus against Manchester United. Yeah. And being Irish, obviously Roy Keane was a big. I was a big fan of Roy Keane, and he got that yellow card to get suspended for the final, and then he went and scored that header, and then obviously we know what happened in the final with Solskjaer and Sheringham. So that was me hooked as a Manchester United fan. Yeah. I do remember, a couple of years previous to that, my older brother is a Liverpool fan, and I do remember at one point, I don't like to admit this too often, but I do remember owning a Liverpool shirt as a kid, as a hand-me-down from an older cousin or something. I remember it was a white Liverpool shirt with Carlsberg across the front, but thankfully I seen sense in 1999 and had a good childhood then because of that.
As you say, you haven't had a bad run of success for United from like all through the 90s and the noughties of you. It's funny, I'm a Spurs fan, but all through my youth, all I can remember between 1990 when I was 10. Through to 2012, 13 when Alex Ferguson, was kind of there. It was just United winning everything. It was so boring, and I found the last 7 or 8 years so refreshing in terms of different clubs actually doing something. But you had that sustained success for quite a long time, didn't you, as a United fan?
Exactly. I think like you say, since Alex Ferguson left, I think it's the first time us Manchester United fans actually get to realise what it's really like to be a football fan, because we did have it for so long. When you've got success year after year, it's David Moyes and Louis van Gaal and boring football and 4th, 5th, 6th place finishes. It brings us back down to earth, which is a good thing. We'll give the others a couple of years to enjoy it.
That's right. Yeah. Okay, so thanks for that, Mark. In our next video, we'll be taking Mark down memory lane to hear about his early and favourite fantasy football moments. The link is in the description below.